Hey guys, and welcome to the 7.2.0 update that we're rolling out. There are two main aspects to this update. One has to do with payments, the other has to do with the virtual shop. So let's go ahead and start with payments. So first and foremost, we're changing the way that this is sort of embedded in Urable. So you may have noticed that before, whenever you would do a payment through either Stripe or Square, it would route you out to a different page. We have now embedded the payment form directly in Urable. So you will not need to leave the app or leave, the browser version of it, which is what I'm in right now. Now I'm connected to both Stripe and Square in here, so I can show you what both of these look like. So when it's embedded right within this payment form, this is what it looks like for Stripe, and this is what it looks like for Square. So same kind of information, two different executions there. And along with this, we've changed the way that tips will be handled. So let me go ahead, just so I can speed this process up a bit. I'm just gonna send this payment out to a card reader so I can process it there. So before, we had the tipping process before you would ever send the payment out to the reader. Now, and this is probably the way it should have been designed all along, it's going to come after. So you can see I just scanned the payment with my card reader out here. Now this takes me, aka the customer, into this tipping screen. They can sign, they can choose their tip amount, and then that would be paid for. So tipping will come after. Same concept applies if the customer will be doing the manually enter card rather than sending out to a card reader. Okay, and now you can see that that has now been paid for and the tip is left here. Now, coming into the way that these are saved now. So as you guys know, with Stripe, we've always saved cards on file as soon as there was a successful transaction. We are now offering the same thing with Square. So you can see this is kind of how it would be executed. I only have a card on file for Stripe, but it would look the same way with Square. So as soon as there's a successful transaction, it would save it in here. You can also just save payment methods on file by just coming in here. And again, you can either save it through Stripe or save it through Square, depending on what you are connected to in here. Coming into the card readers themselves. So we have always offered these two card readers in the US. Actually, this Bluetooth reader is a new reader that we're offering. Keep in mind, if you have the old Bluetooth reader, no big deal, you can keep using that. This is just for anybody new purchasing one of these. This will be the new Bluetooth card reader moving forward. Over in Canada, the UK, and Australia, we are now going to be offering these card readers as well. The only difference is you'll have access to this one just like everybody else, but the Bluetooth card reader looks like this. So this is what the Bluetooth card reader will look like, again, out in Canada, the UK, and Australia. All right. Now, coming into the virtual shop, this is kind of bringing us into the second portion of this. But the first portion that I want to talk about has to do with payments. So along the same lines with having these payment screens embedded right within Urable, same concept applies to down here within the checkout process. So if you are requiring deposits, in this case I am right now, then it's going to embed that little payment screen right in here so that the only way that these jobs can be submitted into Urable is if the customer successfully pays for their deposit, if that's something that you're requiring. If you're not requiring deposits, this won't show up at the bottom. It will just have a big submit button that they can click and send that job off to your account. Now, while we're in here, we have this new thing going on with the way that jobs are booked, and it has to do with the estimated duration and your business operating hours in here. Now, in this particular account, I have my business operating hours set to 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is 10 hours in total. And this, by the way, is something that is set over in your preferences page in the side menu, up into your calendar tab along the top, and then down here in this time range field. When you first come into Urable, this is set 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. So I would definitely, if you haven't done this already, come in here and set this up so then this new function can fire properly. And you can see that this first service that I've added into here, the estimated duration is 12 hours. This is greater than the duration of my business operating hours, which, like I said, is 10 hours. So when that is the case, when the estimated duration of the job that they're booking is greater than your duration of your business operating hours, they have full reign. They can select whatever time they want, because no matter what, it's going to have to wrap that job into the next day. And you'll notice that when I do this, it will show down here that it is appropriately wrapping into the next day. This is 12 hours after that first one. Or I should say 12 working hours after the start date here. Now, let's say, for example, I'm just going to do this 4-hour job. So let me go ahead and add this in, and let me remove this 12-hour one. So now the estimated duration of this job that this customer is booking is only 4 hours. That is obviously less than the duration of my business operating hours. So now you'll see this little screen down here is going to look a little bit different in that it's now blocking off these last 3 times. So the latest that this customer book would be 1 p.m. because we are taking into account the end of your business operating hours. And if there is a job that is less, the duration of it is less than the duration of your operating hours, it will force the customer to book at a time that will ensure completion of that job at or before the end of your operating day. So this needs to be ending by 5 o'clock. So the last time I can pick is 1. Of course, I can pick any time above that as well, just as long as it will end at or before the end of my business operating hours. One thing to really be sure of in here is that you update your estimated duration for your jobs. So for example, if you've set the estimated duration for any of your jobs to, let's just say 2 days, okay? That's gonna make the estimated duration technically 48 hours. So you wanna change your estimated duration for your services in your products and services page in Urable to whatever the working hours would be. So even if it is gonna be 2 days, maybe that would equate to 15 working hours. So make sure you change your stuff to that, so then this will act appropriately and won't block like 4 days of your calendar in here. So that is a new thing that we have added in here. Now that brings us up to date. If you guys have any questions on anything in the 7.2.0 update, of course, feel free to reach out to us anytime.